Hi, today we're going to solve engineering mechanics gate previous year questions from question number 11 to question number 20. Let us start. So this is the first question. The initial velocity of an object is 40 meter per second. The acceleration A of the object is given by the following expression. A is given as, okay, let us write down whatever the initial things are given. So initial velocity is given as 40 meter per second, right? And then acceleration is given as minus 0.1 v, right? Now, where v is the instantaneous velocity of the object, okay? The velocity of the object after 3 seconds. So the velocity of the object after 3 seconds is asked. So initial velocity is given, right? So we all of us know, this is a very simple question. All of us know acceleration can be written as rate of change of velocity dv by dt. This is equal to 0.1 v, right? So if you cross multiply, bring v on the dv, it will become 0.1 dt, right? Now you can simply integrate it, right? V will be integrated from from u to v, initial velocity to final velocity. Time will be integrated from 0 to time t is equal to 3 seconds, right? So if you solve this, you will get ln v by u is equal to, so it is minus, this one is minus, so there will be a minus sign here, right? So this is equal to minus 0.13 minus 0. So if you solve this, you will get the value of v as u. U is nothing else but 40 into e to the power minus 0.3. So let us calculate it. So I will remind all of you to use the online calculator that is available, virtual calculator, digital calculator, not this calculator. I'm using it because otherwise it hinders my process of recording. E to the power minus 0.3. So it is coming out to be 29.6327. So I'll write V as V is equal to 29.633. So this is the answer, required answer. Okay, so this was a very simple question. I hope you got it. Let us move on to the next question. Okay, so the next question is a very fantastic question. In fact, I was not able to solve it for the first time. So what do I do if I am unable to solve it? I solve it in fear first of all. If I am unable to solve the question for the first time, I'll leave this place blank, right? And I'll move on to the next question, right? And I'll revisit this question after some time. So when I revisited this question, might be after 1 day or 2 day, that time it clicked. Whatever was not clicking initially, it clicked. And what I did, wherever I was making mistake, the concept that I was not being able to figure out the first time, I had marked it with red and I've written some remarks so that when I will revise my notes later on, I'll be able to find it where exactly I got stuck and I can prevent the same mistake in future. Okay. So let us read the question. A pinion with radius r1 and inertia I1 is driving a gear with radius r2 and inertia I2. The torque tau 1 is applied on pinion. The following are the free body diagrams of the pinion and the gear showing important forces F1 and F2 of interaction. Which of the following reactions hold true? Now, the pinion, the smaller one is the pinion. The smaller gear you can see is the pinion. The bigger one is the gear. Okay. So the forces are shown. Free body diagram is given. You're asked which of the following equation is right. Right. So first of all, if you concentrate, there are two forces F1 and F2. Two forces F1 and F2. Now these are action reaction pair, right? So the pinion is applying a force of F2 on the gear, so the gear is applying a force of F1 on the pinion. So basically these are action reaction pair, so definitely they will be equal in magnitude. So definitely we can cancel out option 1 and option D when it is saying F1 and F2 are not equal. So we have simplified the equation. Okay. So now the option B and C. So we have the tendency, even I had the tendency initially to figure out this way. The torque, let me consider the pinion, the torque T1 is equal to I1 alpha. Alpha means alpha 1, right? and I can rewrite it as torque 1 is equal to I1 theta double dot. This was my tendency, right? This was my tendency. So I'll directly write theta double 1 on the first term, right? So this was my tendency, right? Initially. So if I follow this, I'll come up with the answer as C. But this is wrong. How I figured it out? So gate, they will not give you directly. Most of the times, when you see this kind of option, one option is very simple. The other option looks very absurd, very easy to say, no, it cannot be that option, right? So whenever such kind of question comes, you can see those kind of options. Be cautious, become more careful, right? Try to see there might be some hidden trick, and yes, it was there. So this torque is not just torque, this is a net torque, isn't it? This is a net torque, my dear. This is a net torque. What is this? Net torque. And if it's a net torque on the pinion, it is not I1 theta 1, but it is I1 theta 1 minus F1 into R1, because this is the external force by the torque is applied. Who is applying the torque? Torque is applied to the motor or whatever, right? It is given, right? It is given torque 1 is applied on the pinion, right? Applied from X is external torque, right? And there is external force. The force will also produce a torque, right? So this is the equation of final torque. Sorry, not this way, not this way. The total torque, net torque. If I say the net torque, what is the net torque? Net torque is equal to tau 1 minus F1 R1. This is equal to I1 alpha 1. Alpha 1 is this, nothing else but, right? So similarly, if I want to write it for, let me say this is equation number 1. Similarly, if I want to write it for the gear, now the gear does not have any external torque, so I can directly write tau 2 is equal to I can write it as F2 R2, and there is no other torque or force, so only one force, F2. So F2 R2, and this can be written as I2 theta 2 double dot, right? This can be written as I2 theta 2 double dot, right? Now, all of us know that the point of contact between two gears, right, will have same velocity. Basically, the periphery of the gears will have same velocity. So what I can say, if they have the same velocity at a small time t, both of them will travel the same amount of distance. What I mean to say here, you can look at here. This is the point of contact of two gears. This is the point of contact of two gears. It will have same velocity v. It will have same velocity v. If it has same velocity v, it will travel same distance at a small time dt. So if it is traveling the same distance at a small time dt, what I can write, that if it is traveling the same distance at small time dt, what I can write it as theta 1 r1 is equal to theta 2 r2, because theta r is nothing else but the arc, right? So it can be approximated at a distance traveled by the point, right? So if this is so, I can double differentiate. R is constant, so theta 1 double dot r1 is equal to theta 2 double dot r2. So this implies from here I'll get the value of theta 2 double dot is equal to I2, sorry, theta 2 double dot is equal to theta 1 double dot r1 by r2, right? If you substitute this value of theta double 2 in here, so you'll get the value of f2 is equal to I2 theta 1 double dot r1 by r2 square, right? So we have to do a little bit of reverse engineering also. You have to see directly figuring out this is not very possible, at least for me. So I'll definitely take a little bit of help from the option. I'll see the option, and is it really, can we arrive at this option? Then you will get some way, right? So if you can see, if you see equation 1 and 2, you're going to get tau 1 is equal to I1 plus I2 R1 plus R2 whole square theta double dot 1, and F2 is equal to I2 R1 divided by R2 square theta 1 double dot. So the right answer is B. So it's a fantastic equation, and no regrets if somebody was unable to solve it the first time. Okay, let us move on to the next question. A ball of mass 0.1 kg initially at rest is dropped from a height of 1 meter. The ball hits the ground, bounces off the ground. The ball hits the ground and bounces off the ground. Upon impact with the ground, the velocity reduces by 20%. So the velocity reduces by 20%. The height in meter to which the ball will rise is. Okay. Again, very simple question, nice conceptual question. So this is the ball. Let me say this is the ground. So it fell from a height of 1 meter. Height is 1 meter, right? So initially is dropped. So initial kinetic energy is 0. So initial kinetic energy is 0. Initial potential energy is equal to mgh. Let me say initial potential energy is mgh, right? So when the ball is about to hit ground, I'm assuming the potential energy final is equal to 0. Means all the potential energy mgh has been converted into kinetic energy, right? All the potential energy has been converted into kinetic energy final, right? So what is the final kinetic energy? Can I say final kinetic energy means after just before hitting the ground is equal to mgh, that is half mv square is equal to mgh. Let me say this is equation number 1. Okay. Now after the ball strikes the ground, what it is given that the velocity reduces by 20%. So the new velocity will be is equal to 0.8 v, right? So after hitting the ground, what I can say, the velocity after hitting the ground v dash is equal to 0.8 v. So I can write the kinetic energy will change into half m 0.8 v whole square, right? So this is the kinetic energy after striking the ground and while trying to return back, right? And this will now get converted into potential energy. Let me say it rises to a height h. So the potential energy at a height h will be mgh dash. So I can write this as mgh dash is equal to mgh dash. Let me say this is equation number 2. You simply divide equation 1 and 2. Half mv square will go away. So 1 divided by 0.64 is equal to mg will get cancelled out, h divided by h dash. So the height to which the ball will rise is h dash. From here you will get the value of h dash as h dash is equal to 0.64 h. So the value of h is given as 1 meter. So the new height that the ball will rise is 0.64 meter. 0.64 meter. So the new height the ball will rise to is 0.64 meter. I hope this is clear. Let us move on to the next question, question number 14. Okay, there's again a very nice question from Truss. For the truss shown in the figure, the magnitude of the force in member PR and the support reaction at R are respectively PR. So forces acts in the member PR and reaction at the support R. So if you see R, it is a roller support, so it will have only one reaction, that is vertical, right? It will have only vertical reaction. You can see this. It will have only vertical reaction at R, right? Okay, let us see. Now let me resolve the 100 kilonewton force into two parts. I can resolve the 100 kilonewton force into two parts. So 100 cos 60 and 100 sin 60. So 100 cos 60. So cos 60 is half. So it will become 50 Newton, and this will become 50 root 2 Newton. 50 root 2 नहीं होगा, root 3 by 2 ना, sorry, 50 root 3 Newton. Okay. Now let us now focus. Now if you consider the equilibrium of joint P, Now, if you consider the equilibrium of joint P, if you consider the equilibrium of joint P, if you consider the equilibrium of joint P, right? So, point P, there is a 50 Newton force, 50 Newton force from this side. There is a 50 root 3 Newton force from this side. And there are two other forces. Let me draw it a different color pen. So, this is force PQ and you have ये कौन सा force है भाई ये force है this is force PR this force PR यही तो निकालना है we have to find out this force PR right we have to find out this force PR now this angle is 45 so this angle is also 45 without any doubt this angle is also 45 means this angle is also 45 so very easily you can find it out so you can simply resolve this FPR, I can resolve in two parts. So horizontal component will be FPR cos of 45 degree, right? Or we can say sine of 45 degree. It is same. Cos 45 is equal to sine of 45. So I can write down the equation as how can I write down the equation? I can write down the equation as FPR cos of 45 degree is equal to 50 Newton. So what is the value of FPR? FPR is equal to 50 into root 2 right? So how much is 50 into 1.41? Let us calculate 50 into 1.41. It is 17.5. 17.5 answer में है क्या? Yes, definitely near about. If you take root 2, 50 into root 2, it is coming out to 70.71. So definitely two options are now eliminated. It must be from option B and option C. So let us try to find out the reaction. So to find out the reaction, what we can do, we can take moment. Summation of moment about point O should be equal to 0. Why it should be 0? Because the truss is at equilibrium. So I can say, and I can simply write down the equation. So you can see 50 root 3 is directly passing through point Q, so it will get cancelled out. No doubt about that, right? So 50 and this is an isosceles triangle. So this is also equal to 4 meter. Very simple. So I can simply write 50 into 4 is equal to reaction at R into 4. क्या equation है? Wow. This implies reaction at R is equal to 50 Newton. So कोई problem ही नहीं है. No problem at all. No problem at all. 70.71 Newton. So which is the right answer? Right answer is C. The right answer is C. So let us move on to the next question. Question number 15. A bullet spins as the shot is fired from a gun. For this purpose, two helical slots, as shown in the figure are cut in the barrel. Projections A and B on the bullet engage in each slot. So the bullet has two projections and the projections are fitted in the helical slot. So what is happening is as the bullet is moving forward, the bullet is also turning. As the bullet is moving forward, the bullet is also turning. The helical slots are such that one turn of the helix is completed over a distance of 0.5 meter. Okay. One turn of the helix is completed over a distance of 0.5 meter. If the velocity of the bullet when it exits the barrel is 20 meter per second, so the velocity of the bullet while exiting the barrel is 20 meter per second, its spinning speed in radian per second is. So basically, its angular speed, its spinning speed is being asked. Okay, देखते हैं. So it is clearly given that 0.5 meter is equal to, it implies one turn, right? So 1 meter is equal to 2 turn. So if I am saying 20 meter per second, can I say this is equal to 40 turns per second? Yes. 40 turns per second, right? You can simply multiplication. Don't ask me to do this. Okay. So now 20 meter per second is 40 turns per second. So what is 40 turns per second? 40 turns per second. Can I write it as 40? One turn is equal to 2 pi. 40 into 2 pi per second. 40 into 2 pi radian per second. Radian per second. 40 into 2 pi radian per second. So if it is 40 into 2 pi radian per second, then my dear, Can we multiply and find out? 40 into 2 pi. 251.32. Is this the answer I have given you? Let me cross check. कहाँ गया बे? 251.33. Fantastic. This is the answer I have given you. This is the questions. Okay. I have it for my reference. So this is equal to 251.33 radian per second. So this is, my dear, your answer. Turning speed. अरे मार्क हो जा जल्दी जल्दी. Let us move on to the next question. Okay, clear? Let us move on to the next question. A circular object of radius r rolls without slipping, very nice, on a horizontal level floor with a center having velocity v. The velocity at the point of contact between the object and the floor is so sleepy, right? All of us know in rolling without slipping, if there is no slip, rolling without slipping. Konsa, what kind of motion? Rolling without slipping, right? That is pure rolling. Rolling without slipping, that is pure rolling. The point of contact, its velocity is equal to 0 and it is known as instantaneous center of rotation. Instantaneous center of rotation. So answer is A. Answer is A. Fantastic. Let us move on. It was a very simple question, right? Question 17. छोटकू सा क्वेश्चन दिख रहा है लेकिन कैलकुलेटिव क्वेश्चन होगा ये. A two-member truss ABC is shown in the figure. The force in kilonewton transmitted in member AB is, if you have to find out the force in member AB, you have to find out the force in member, which member? In AB. You find out force in member AB. So let us try to find out the force in member AB. Let us try to find out how to do, what to do. How to do, what to do. This angle we can calculate theta. What is angle theta? Tan inverse. Perpendicular 0.5. Array, the side opposite to the angle is perpendicular. This is the perpendicular. This is the base, right? So tan theta is perpendicular base, right? So I hope you know the shortcut trick how to remember what there is a mnemonics. If you don't know, comment me in the comment section. I will tell you. 0.5 divided by 1. So the angle theta is coming out to be. Let us calculate. 0.5 divided by 1 is 0.5. Tan inverse answer is 26.565. Theta is equal to 26.565. Okay. So let us now consider the equilibrium of joint B. Let us consider the equilibrium of joint B. So what are the forces? There is a 10 kilonewton force in the downward direction. What is this? Force AB. I am assuming the direction. I don't know the direction. I am just assuming the direction. If the direction I have assumed is wrong, what will happen? The answer will come out to be negative. So this is force BC. This is force BC, right? AB, BC, 10 kilonewton. And this angle is angle theta. So kya kare? What to do? I can form two equations. I can resolve BC into two parts. As you can see, the direction I have assumed is wrong. Right? You might be able to figure it out by now. I can write this is FBC cos of theta. This is FBC sine of theta. Right? So if you write down the equation, FBC sine of theta plus 10 is equal to 0, because both are in the same direction. Sum of the forces in y direction should be equal to 0. So instead, what I'm doing, I'm writing this as minus 10. Oh, it is okay. Is equal to minus 10. It will be easy for me to divide now. Similarly, FBC cos of theta is equal to what? FAB. FAB लिखें या minus of FAB? That will be better. Minus of FAB. अरे ये कैसे लिख रहे हो बे? AB. Equation 2. So divide equation 1 by 2. Divide equation 1 by 2. If you divide equation 1 by 2, FBC will get cancelled out. अरे बाप रे बाप, tan theta आ गया, tan theta. We need not find out this angle. So this question can definitely ask for engineering service prelims, right? So if your calculation, if you have done a lot of calculation and you have understanding, you know that actually you did not find out the angle theta, right? अभी भी समझ में नहीं आया हुआ है. Don't tell me that. This will become 10 divided by f. So what is FAB now? FAB is equal to 10 divided by 10 theta. And what is 10 theta? 10 theta is 0.5 by 1 na. So it is nothing else but 0.5 by 1. 10 divided by 0.5 by 1 is 0.5. So it becomes 20. So what is the force AB? Force AB is 20. Let me check if I have got the right answer or not. Yes, 20 kilometer. Answer is equal to 20 kilometer. Right? So there is possibility that I made mistakes. Okay, I'm also human. I'm not a very expert. I'm just trying to deliver what I know to you. Right? So if I'm making any mistake, please comment on the comment section. I can definitely resolve it. Okay. Let us move on to the next question. A mass M1 of 100 kg traveling with a uniform velocity of 5 meter per second. Okay, mass is 100 kg, uniform velocity of 5 meter per second. Collides with a stationary mass M2, okay, of 100 kg, 1000 kg, sorry. After the collision, both the masses travel with the same velocity. Okay, they are traveling with the same velocity. The coefficient of restitution is, okay, very simple question. So if you know the basics, this is a Chunnu question, right? So if both the masses are traveling with the same velocity, what is the velocity of separation? Velocity of separation is zero. Well, what is the meaning they are traveling with the same velocity? So it means that the collision is perfectly inelastic, right? So coefficient of restitution E is represented by velocity of separation divided by velocity of approach. And as you can see in this question, they stick together and they travel together with same velocity. So velocity of separation is zero. Does not matter what is the velocity of approach. Okay, you can find it out from here. Uniform velocity, collider stationary, so velocity of approach is 5. So whatever it is, E is equal to 0. So answer is D. Answer is D. Such a simple question, right? Okay. Question number 19 is a direct question. In a statically determined plane truss, the number of joints and the number of members are related by. Okay. So this equation, there are three equations. M is equal to 2j minus 1, 2j minus 1. So this is statically determinate. Statically determinate. Right. And it is also known as perfect, or and sometimes many times called stable, right? If m becomes smaller than 2j minus 3, sorry, 2j minus 1, not 3, 2j minus 1, sorry, 2j minus 3, it is not 1, 2j minus 3, 2j minus 3, sorry. If m becomes smaller than 2j minus 3, it becomes unstable truss. It becomes an unstable truss. And if m is greater than 2j minus 3, so it is a stable. डेफिनेटली स्टेबल नहीं बोलेंगे, इसको हम बोलेंगे अनडिटर्मिनेट. अनडिटर्मिनेट, STATICAL, statically undetermined. Okay, so even I face a lot of confusion in remembering this. Now when I'm practicing, I just revise engineering mechanics, no problem, right? I'll be able to remember it tomorrow by my even for 1 week, that the formula is m is equal to 2j minus 3. But if I have not revised engineering mechanics for say number of months, so suddenly if this formula comes, I really get totally confused. Is it m is equal to 2j minus 3, or is it j is equal to 2m minus 3? Or was it plus or minus? Or was it really 3? Or it is 1? A lot of confusion. I face it every time. So what I have done, I have made a mnemonics for myself. I remember it through the mnemonics. You can also devise similar kind of mnemonics for you. मैंने तुझे 3 थप्पड़ मारा, सही में नहीं मारना, ठीक है, सही में किसी को थप्पड़ जाकर नहीं मारना है। जस्ट टू रिमेंबर दी कंसेप्ट। मैंने एम, तुझे, तुझे मीन्स टू जे, तीन, डेफिनेटली थ्री, थप्पड़, थप्पड़ इज a negative quantity, थप्पड़ is something negative, like love is positive, peace is positive, थप्पड़, violence, all these are negative, so इसलिए यहां पर क्या आएगा, माइनस, so m is equal to 2j minus 3. This is how I remember. Okay, you might find it funny, but let it be funny. This is how it is. Okay, so what is the right answer? M is equal to 2j minus 3. Answer, option answer is C. Okay, let us move on to the next question. The coefficient of a restitution of a perfectly plastic impact is plastic. What do you mean by perfectly plastic? Perfectly plastic means perfectly inelastic, right? Elastic and plastic, they are opposite to each other. Antonym, opposite, completely opposite, right? So this is not perfectly elastic. In hurry, if you are in hurry, most of the questions definitely what you will say, जल्दी जल्दी में गेट के एग्जाम में, अरे यार ये तो इतना इजी क्वेश्चन, they'll write one and come. No, this is perfectly plastic. Plastic means completely inelastic, perfectly inelastic collision. So for perfectly inelastic question, we have already seen one question. The coefficient of restitution is 0. I hope question 1 to 11 to 20 are clear. Next video will come up with question. I'll come up with question 21 to 27 of the assignment. Okay, best wishes.